Is it better to be feared or respected? And I say, is it too much to ask for both? With that in mind, I humbly present the crown jewel of Stark Industries' Freedom Line. They say the best weapon is one you never have to fire. I respectfully disagree. I prefer the weapon you only have to fire once. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far.
This is the legendary AJ. I done ran to about 15 people claiming to be AJ. Man, you so famous for doing tunes. Everybody says, they say everybody get their tunes from AJ. And then they say they just change them up. I say, who the hell is AJ? Dude, you're like a mystery.
I don't know.
A lot of people in the know, on the inside, know who you are. But for people who've never heard of you, how would you explain yourself, who you are?
I started in the early 90s as just a C-Tech, and by 2009, when I left the dealership to work for Arrington full-time, I was shop foreman and doctor in the house. I'd gone pretty much as high as I could go. As a technician, I won multiple awards, top tech in the zone, technician competitions. I was fully trained with the entire Chrysler curriculum. I was fortunate. I had a really good career at the dealership.
You know, I've been racing the Dodge Demon, and I just got into it having fun, and the fun continues. But everyone that I spoke to in the industry, when I say the industry, the insiders, they all said, you gotta go to Hemituner. You gotta go find this guy, AJ Burge. You gotta go to Hemituner. That is the tip of the spear.
We first met at Springfest last year.
Yes.
I was there with my son.
Dude, you're like a mystery.
I don't know. Tuning started for me when I started with turbo Dodges.
Wow.
1997 was when I started. Built a motor in a car, made one pass with it, and it blew up. And I'm like, listen, I can't ever do this again. So from that day forward, I just started teaching myself how to do it. And so from 1997 to 2007, I was just always just behind the scenes, just tuning it, but I still worked at the dealer. And then 2007, when these cars were really starting to get hot, I just parlayed into it.
So after you left the dealership, you went into Arrington. What brought you into Arrington?
So I was at the PRI show in 2008.
And can you explain to people what PRI is?
So the PRI show is the Performance Racing Industry Show. It's the largest racing trade show in the U.S. Happens every December, and it's a melting pot of everybody from the best engine builders, manufacturers, machine suppliers, dyno suppliers.
I mean, it is really amazing show. As a matter of fact, I met you at this PRI show.
Yes, we did speak at PRI.
We have so many passes on the Soul Snatcher. We got more passes than any other car because we race it about 3 days a week, right? We have made the decision that we want to try to pull that engine out and put it to the side and put a stronger race engine in the car.
And that's what I did with my Demon.
And then keep racing the car.
That's what I did with my Demon, the 1597. So when I started running 19 for this, and I was just doing my weekly service on the car, I said, you know what? I have a block. Got a VIN number in it, and I really want to preserve that because it is still a Demon at the end of the day. So, but I still want to go faster. So I took the engine out, put it on a stand, I wrapped it up in plastic, and put one of our forged mills in it. And it's it's such a better way to go because you can't. Let's face it, when they do blow up, it's really a hit in the gut. It's a hit in the gut.
Yes, it's a hit in the gut,
It's a
the
hit
morale,
to the ego,
everything.
the morale, how excited you are about the car.
Okay, so you know what it's like to put a team together of a person that's racing and everything that needs to be there when you're at the track and you're trying to win races.
Absolutely. When you're trying to go rounds, like all
At
this
a big
record
event
stuff,
and you're trying to go rounds,
yeah, like all this record stuff, like everybody's got a record. Like I have a record for the fastest black car on a Sunday when the sun's out on the west. Like all of that's fun, and you know, personal bests are great, but you really have to have a different approach when you want to go rounds, and you know, to go rounds is challenging.
Well, you know, that's what I noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I noticed. I really like to race. I fell more in love with racing. And what I found is that every tuner is not a racer. Does that kind of make sense?
No, it's and there are a lot of talented guys out there. I don't want to take anything away from anybody, but I mean, it definitely, you have to have. There's definitely one mentality of, you know, tuners that race and tuners that just sit behind the laptop and tune everything else out and only tune cars.
Right.
I mean, it's just a different thing. So I had to learn from the outside in. So I had to learn from growing up in the mechanical aspect of it to how the calibration end affects the mechanics. You know, some of the things that really concern me about, you know, the car.
Milky, watery, demon engine. Good thing that we're pulling it.
When everything works, it's perfect. But what happens when it doesn't work? You know, what happens when that fuel pressure falls a little bit because, you know, you got pushed between rounds and, you know, you forgot to add that extra gallon in? You know, what happens? Do you have room for that? Do you have a plan for that? You know, and then the mental aspect of it, like, say you get up to the line and you say, oh my God, like I forgot something. I should put 2 gallons of gas in the car. I did it. Like now, your game's messed up. You're not going to be focused on your burnout. You're not going to be focused on taking the tree. And then when you leave, I mean, you're going for it. I mean, say the fuel pressure drops and you burn the thing up. Like, you just didn't. You have to think about the things, every aspect of the run and what's going to happen, and prepare for that. You know, as you go up in power, and that's what we try to do. One of my clients, Vincent Nobile, he's a pro stock racer, and in 2016 they started to go fuel injection into pro stock cars.
Okay.
And he called me one time and said, hey, you know, we're having some struggles with this pro stock car with the fuel injection. You know, would you be willing to come out and give us a hand? I agreed to do it. I went and I observed and spent a couple of days, and that's a totally different world, pro stock. And after that, they invited me to go to a race, and I went to that race, and they hadn't qualified better than 8th all season. The first race that I was with them, we qualified 3rd.
Wow.
So they instantly hired me.
You got the job.
It was a very, very, very different, demanding, and super high pressure scenario. You know, I was lucky enough with Vincent. I was with him for 16, 17, and 18. Lucky enough to come home with 4 Wallies. So Wallies are, if you look behind me, the trophies. So those are the trophies you win when you win an NHRA race. And we were lucky enough to grab 4 of them in the 3 years. The 2018 season was the best season for us.
Vincent Nobile picks up the win. And in the process, he moves into 2nd in countdown standings. A whole shot win, no less.
Doing that and experiencing that was you're talking 28 races, 28 weekends between February and November, plus test sessions and everything else. It was really, really super demanding. So.
Yeah, well, you know, one thing that I do is that I have a race mentor, and that's Rod Head, so everybody knows that. And I call him the Cobra Jet Master. And after this last event that I had, he really set me down and gave me a good, it's more like a good chewing out instead of a good talking to. But he said, look, you really, if you want to continue doing this, and I could see the excitement in your eyes, you really have to put yourself a good team together that can help you run rounds. And so I started calling people, interviewing, researching, and talking. And I talked to several people, and I actually called you and had Rod on the phone. And Rod is an old rough guy. And man, after we got off the phone with you, AJ, he called me back. He said, that guy knows his shit. Excuse my language. He said, but he is the total package. You get engine performance, you get tuning, you get suspension. He said it's very a few people that can do it all. Either they specialize in one particular area, but he says, I believe that this guy is going to get you where you need to be at. So I talked to a lot of people about building a high horsepower engine, which is something I said I never wanted to get into, but the more I started racing, the more I wanted, you know, it's like, I mean, it's an addiction. So there you go. But I looked at a lot of engines and a lot of engine builds, and you really intrigued me with the way that you design your engines to run.
I put a lot of engines in my own cars and take them back out and tear them down and look at them and say, okay, how can we do better? And you know, your engine is now like my fourth version of this engine. It's not about just picking the parts off the shelf and putting them in. It's about understanding how everything works together and seeing patterns, you know, seeing how things wear, seeing how what works and what doesn't work. You know, so for a while, I had probably 3 or 4 engines that I tested from various builders that we put the engines in the car, short blocks. So we got a car that runs great. We decided we want to put a forged engine in it. Better pistons, better rods. Like, we're gonna make everything better, right? We're gonna build a new mousetrap. Mm-hmm. We put the thing in the car, and it's 50 horsepower down from the stock engine. Like, you'd say to yourself, like, how could that be? How could that be? I just built this brand new engine, all the best parts that I could get my hands on, and it's worse than the stock engine.
Wow.
That's the part of engine building that people don't understand, because everything matters. You know, the hone, the ring seal, the weight of the parts, what bearings you use, you know, what your balance is. All of these things add up. And we specialize because we hone in on those things. And again, remember we talked about working together, and some people work together and some people don't. My relationship with my machinists that surround me and their assemblers who put my short blocks together, like, all of this feedback and all of this experience, we all collaborate with each other, and at the end of the day, we can provide you something that we know works.
All right, brother. Hey, man, I appreciate the interview. I know I probably left out 1,000 questions. Hey, man, it's been great speaking to you, AJ, and we'll catch you on the flip side, brother.
All right, outstanding. Thank you.
Take care, buddy. Peace.
Bye.
So the technology actually doesn't exist. So it's
Wait, the technology. William, here is the technology. I've asked you to simply make it smaller.
Okay, sir, and that's what we're trying to do, but honestly, it's impossible.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not Tony Stark.
Hey guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and also click the bell. Check out the videos up at the top, and if you get a chance, check out our merch store. Peace.